still on to Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our conversation for this morning. Delta State has approved the creation of an electricity commission and a rural electricity agency to decentralize power and improve access following the domestication of the 2023 Federal Electricity Act. The state will implement a decentralized mini-grid model, enabling private operators to generate and distribute electricity using renewable sources like solar and hydro. A system operator and market operator will be appointed to regulate operations, ensure service standards, and promote equity. The consultant will also guide the market reforms. The Commissioner Sonny said the initiative aligns with Governor Oborevwori's more agenda and aims to position Delta as a leader in electricity reform. As they have with me, Chief Dr. Tony Amechi. He is the special advisor to the Delta State government on investment. Thank you so very much, Chief, for hanging on. We truly do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Now let's talk about the more agenda. Just before we get into everything on electricity, can you help us flesh in the more agenda? What does it stand for? What has it done?
Okay, the more agenda, we're talking about meaningful development, opportunities for realistic reform and enhanced peace and security. Now, this agenda is the bedrock of what the governor is doing presently in Delta State. The idea is to ensure that, development gets to every nooks and crannies of Delta State, and the people of Delta State feels the impact of government, So each and every one, in whatever position or phase that you occupy, is working in sync with this agenda to ensure that those goals are delivered and achieved at the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's talk a bit about electricity and the lack of it in Delta State. Most recently, I have it on one of the newspapers a couple of weeks back on the Ndokwa issue that happened. It was so sad that lots of people, were handled by the operatives, the security and all. Which, of course, I would love to believe gave rise to possibly this. I do not know if that was the reason why this commission was set up in the first place, the issue that happened in Ndokwa.
No, I think I totally disagree with you. Okay. Upon the inception of this administration, and when the federal government decentralized the power sector, so we began to work on this bill that you're seeing today. A lot of meetings were held. Critical stakeholders were invited. As a matter of fact, there was something I personally sponsored. I got a consultant from TCN to prepare a way forward with what we can do in terms of electricity and all of that. So, unfortunately, like you rightly said, a lot of people do not have information. The feedback mechanism is something that we need to look into, because when your constituents and people that you're representing are getting the right information, I don't think the crisis or the protest that happened the last time in my constituency would have been necessary. But obviously, the feedback mechanism is not there, so people don't really know what the government is doing, to ameliorate their sufferings or to change whatever perception that they have. So we've been on this, but unfortunately, the protest came at a time, that the bill for electricity was almost at its conclusion.
So it was a coincidence?
It was a coincidence, let me use that word. So because I knew that this was already ongoing. And not to forget about the fact that the member representing Ndokwa Shokokwa in the federal constituency at the Federal House of Representatives, this has been his primary objective, championing the call,
So who is that exactly?
Honorable Nandezechi, Right Honorable Nandezechi. So he's been making a lot of moves, championing that cause, to ensure that the independent power plant in Okpai, in Ndokwa East Edge of Delta State, that is a step down, which was actually, being built under the Obasanjo administration. But I understand from my own investigation too, because before I joined government, we also were looking at this with some other groups and brothers who also were partaking to this cause to ensure that we have electricity. So we understand that the project at that time was not a proper project. It was not in the budget. It didn't go through BPE. Those were information that we gathered, So Ajib, as at that time, the MD of Ajib as at that time, leveraged on the relationship they had with Obasanjo to start the step-down project. But unfortunately, they didn't perfect it to make sure it goes through BP for it to have a proper budget before that administration went out. So there was no proper follow-up after that time. Okay, so it became cumbersome now, but I think it's receiving attention. So what the government did when we came into office was to look at how we can get power across the nooks and crannies of Delta State, which will boost development, which will boost production and all of that. If you look at what is happening in most of the states, in most of the towns, you see what we call the urban migration. People don't want to stay in the rural areas anymore. Everybody wants to come to the city. And this is happening because people don't have access to roads. They don't have access to water. Most importantly, electricity. The petty weather can't operate in the village because it does not have light. The hairdresser cannot operate because it does not have light. The fashion designer cannot operate. Even the man that has a fish pond that ordinarily is supposed to, okay, let me dry my fish using the microwave so I can export them, can't do that. Agriculture is on the decline because you can't even preserve what you have. So we realize, from the inception of this government, that electricity is the bedrock of development in any nation. When we have electricity, it's going to be the beginning of development and it's going to reduce the urban migration. And my governor, Sheriff Oborevwori, took it upon himself that something has to be done. So it's something that is dear to him. And it's not leaving any stone unturned, until these communities within the rural areas and every towns and every nooks and crannies in Delta State have electricity. And that's exactly the manifestation of what you're seeing in that bill. So the bill gives that opportunity to different investors, in different capacities to come in and look at Delta State. You can think of where you want to come and invest and then sit down and have a conversation with the agency responsible for that, and then your business can fly.
So does it mean that the 8 years administration of Okowa did not see reasons to initiate some of those things?
No, there were reasons, yes. But you need to understand that a lot of things were under the exclusive list. Before now, electricity, railway, petroleum, solid minerals, even the maritime till tomorrow are still under the exclusive list. So you can't do anything contrary to the decision of the federal government. Not because the Okowa administration does not want to do it, but you're going to be running contrary to what the federal government was doing. Even the independent power plant that was built by Governor Okowa in Delta State, they had to go through a lot to actualize that. But with the unbundling of the electricity sector by this current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, states can now begin to generate their own power, distribute their own power for the benefit of their people. And that is what we are doing in Delta State today, to make sure that, electricity gets to every news event of Delta State and our people can now begin to develop, effectively, because the moment you have power, then everything works for you. For instance, I believe in living in the village. I'm a village man. I believe in my people. So you won't see me in Asaba if I have electricity in my village. I will remain with my people. I will understand them better. Even now that we don't have electricity, but I can tell you without your favor that a lot of work is now ongoing in my place. A lot of work, the lines have been revisited. There's been a rehabilitation. All the phases are coming up. And I can tell you without your favor that in my place, there's going to be light in no distant time.
So, but who is in charge of that? Because it's very important, because you talked about giving third party the opportunity to come invest in power. You and I know that power is a capital intensive business, and it's not plug and play. You need time to have that happen. And for now, the average man in Ndokwa is more concerned about seeing light. He is not concerned about the third party coming and when it will be realized. Why won't the government of Sheriff Oborevwori take the first step, ensure that at least there is that on? No, that now I the third party to come in.
I think you don't. I think, like I told you in our last conversation, that you don't swallow everything you hear hook, line, and sinker. People are there to discredit government, whether government is doing well or not. Okay? What we are doing right now, is to ensure that we reconnect to BEDC pending when a step down or these other investors are coming in. And that is happening now as I speak to you. Money has been paid to BEDC, critical decisions have been made, and they are recording in most of these communities that do not have light. A lot of contracts have been given to that effect. It's ongoing. And I'm inviting you and your team to take a tour in Delta State. Take a tour. You don't just sit down, in Lagos and assume that nothing is happening in Delta State.
No, whatever happens there is what we see. And if there are
no, I totally disagree with you. We also have a lot of disgruntled elements that are willing to discredit what government is doing, and I totally disagree with that. Okay. So I'm inviting you on a full expense paid trip. I'll be responsible for your expenses if you're ready to come. I will take you around into Nation, for instance, so I can see what is going on. So BEDC is in the process of reconnecting most of these communities that have been disconnected. Mind you, a lot of things have been vandalized, transformers have been stolen, electricity lines have been taken away, but they are putting all of these things in place now as I speak to you. In fact, before I left the village, some of the contractors came to pay me a visit to tell me the extent they are going and even share some ideas with me, which I called the local government chairman of one of my LGAs, and it's in sync with what is going on. So sometimes you hear news that are not true. And I will also implore you to verify most of this information before putting them out on air. So the government is doing everything possible to ensure that the people have light. Like I rightly stated, the protest was a coincidence. And that was why I was appealing to them that there should be more time and more dialogue before you begin to embark on protest. But unfortunately, a lot of people are bent on doing what they want to do. I'm not against them. Okay. I'm not saying that what they did was wrong. Okay. But I think it's also important to find a mechanism of getting information from government to know what is coming to your place before embarking on a protest that might end up destroying what you have.
Yes, because you talked about, because when we were talking about the Okowa and his friend having a little feud here, you said there are no proper mechanism to get people to understand what they are doing. Now, with respect to this connection that you said and the lack of information coming from that community, I love to believe there are councillors representing that place. There's a local government chairman there. There's a member, State House of Assembly. There's members representing that same community in the federal and so on. Have they been carried along?
Okay, I also share in that blame.
Yes.
I'm not going to excuse myself from that. I'm an advisor to the governor. But unfortunately, for a very long time, I've been incapacitated. I've been under the weather. Okay. So I've not really been functioning. Okay. Everybody must share part of that blame of not being able to revert back to the people. We should be doing at least monthly briefing to our people to let our people know what is going on. But at the same time, there are visible projects that our people can see. In the Nation, for instance, since the creation of Delta State, have never had it good the way they are having it right now.
With Sheriff
Oborevwori. This governor is doing so much for us. And I want to say right here a very big thank you to him.
So was it
in my community, yes, where I come from in Enterprise is one of the key roads that leads to the interior areas that nobody ever thinks about. He just awarded that contract.
I want to do billions. It's very important
that the Abon Akara Road has been awarded. Okay, the Kwale Benekuku Bridge has been built and completed. There are a lot of other bridges that he has awarded that I can't even begin to enumerate, but I think I will send them to you.
Yeah, maybe you can display them. I would appreciate that.
People need to begin to understand this. And I'm also going to use it to appeal to my local government, the chairman of all the local governments, the councillors, the members representing the different state of assemblies, to be communicating with the people for them to know exactly what the governor is doing. He's doing so much for us. We've never had it this good before. And the deputy governor on his own part is also pushing. People may say whatever they want to say, but a lot of people who have eyes are seeing, and they know that for the first time in the history of Delta State, that we are beginning to feel the impact of government. So I want to appeal them that rather than cast aspersion, use derogatory words and all of that, let us encourage this government. Let us support this government, to do more for us.
I love your enthusiasm. I truly do love your enthusiasm. But would I say this is as a result of Sheriff Oborevwori plugged into the center? Because since he had moved from the beloved PDP, which is hereditary to the people of Delta State, to the new party, which the people are still having issues with, and you are saying laudably that the governor, the sheriff, the new sheriff in town is doing awesomely well. So would I say it is because he has plugged to the center?
That's not true. When did we plug into the center? About a month ago?
Yes.
The governor hit the ground running from the very first day. You can't tell me that you're not seeing that. This governor every week is inspecting projects by himself. How many governors does it in the entire Nigeria? You can't see any governor doing that. Every blessed week, he's going from one project to the other to see for himself. You see the project even condemning jobs that contractors are doing. See, this is not what I gave you. You have to repeat it. For the first time, we have a governor that is all-round action. From the day he was sworn in was the day he started working. It's not as a result of going, aligning with the center. Aligning with the center is to bring more prosperity, not because he's not giving it to us already.
Okay.
So he's already doing that. And we also believe that also aligning with the center, that most of the key projects that we're looking at, from the federal government will also come.
Are you telling me that's not a Trojan horse for Okowa? Is that what you're saying?
No,
here?
see, people
because
are...
what we
no,
the media, because all of these things are plain, they are in the open domain. Okowa still has a case with the EFCC about 1.5 trillion.
That is not true. Can I ask you a question? Yes, that is not true. What was the total budget of Delta State for the 8 years of Okowa? If people are saying that Okowa stole 1.5 trillion, what was the total budget of Delta State for the 8 years of Okowa?
So what you're saying?
No, it's bogus. It's completely wrong.
Really?
And I'm standing here to tell you. I'm sitting with you here to tell you that it's completely wrong. That is bullshit. What was the total budget of Delta State for that 8 years of Governor Ifeanyi Okowa? So people are free to say whatever they want to say. How much we get as a state for the 8 years of that government? That you are going to say that the governor stole 1.5 trillion. I'm not telling that Okowa is a saint. Okay. But to lay such accusations on that man, I mean it's demonic. Let me use that word. So whoever fabricated that write-up, casting aspersion, saying all of these things to confuse debtors, is an enemy of the state.
So the shift to APC wasn't because of it?
No, absolutely nothing. It is a strategic alignment to bring more development to Delta State.
So Delta State wouldn't have developed faster enough?
We are already developing.
It had remained with the PDP.
Let us be realistic.
Yes.
Let us be realistic. There are certain things that you need to understand. A lot of things are still under the exclusive list of the federal government. Okay. There are certain things that we might want to do today that we can't do easily without the support of the federal government.
Until you join
so the question you need to ask yourself, why do we want to continue fighting the federal government when we can actually build a nice relationship with them to get what we want seamlessly?
But Chief, Enugu State of Mba is not aligning to the center. It is doing awesomely well. Point
of correction. Are you telling me here that Abia State and Enugu State are doing better than Delta State?
Well, I do not know, but knowing where they are coming from.
Yes.
Knowing where
where were they coming from? No. Where were they coming from? The state they and Delta State, they are age mates. Are they not?
Very well.
Are they not receiving allocations each of the states?
Very true.
So what I was saying. So if you choose not to develop your state, how does that affect Delta State government? The point that we have our ambition, we have what we intend to achieve. They have their ambition. They have what they intend to achieve. They are developing according to their pace. We are developing according to our pace. There are things that we believe that we will get, by building this alliance that we're building today. Not because there's any other thing special that the federal government is going to do for us. We were already doing awesomely well, which
Yeah.
Look at the number of, in less than 2 years, how many flyovers have we built? How many bridges have you built? How many roads have we built? Schools that have been renovated. Employment. Think of all of that in Delta State. Look at the partnership we are building with our foreign direct investment. It's a flurry of investment because we sit in a pivotal position in this country to drive prosperity for Nigeria. And because we know who we are as Deltans, aligning with the federal government was the best option for us so that we can unleash the potentials we have seamlessly without bottlenecks. So anybody who is saying anything contrary to that is that person's business. My governor was doing well before joining APC, and he will do more with the support of Mr. President. Simple. So anybody that says anything contrary to that, well, has his own objective, has his own agenda. But I know that the alliance is for the prosperity of Delta State and not to protect anybody's interest or anybody's misgiving. And those people who are peddling these rumors or casting their aspersions are doing that on their own. It's as simple as ABCD. We are doing exceptionally well, and we have money at Delta State to do more. And that is the more agenda, and the governor is doing it. So anybody that is saying, because the former governor has a case with EFCC, the case are unsubstantiated. EFCC cannot prosecute that case because it is, on what basis are they even saying that he stole 1 point? They should give us the evidence. We are debtors. We are waiting to see it. There's no evidence to that. So it is not because of Mr. President.
Yes.
I don't know prosecuting members of APC. So what makes you believe that because my governor went to APC, if the former governor has a case that is not going to be prosecuted, they can't prosecute him because the case is baseless. They don't have any case against the man.
Well, that's very similar to what the Firebomb people have done or have said. Emmanuel, the former governor, equally has a case with the EFCC. When has joined the APC because of the same reason people have alleged. And but let's come back to the electricity issue, because I had the opportunity of doing some research here on some of the issues that we have with electricity and its lack in Delta State. And one of them is community resistance or land dispute. It says here that electrification projects sometimes face delay due to local disputes or lack of cooperation from host communities. So is it okay to say, have we observed such in Delta State?
To the best of my knowledge, we've not observed such. And I do not think there's any community in Delta State today that will begin to fight or create bottlenecks for operators or investors or contractors that are coming to bring electricity to us. I don't think there's any community that want to do that.
So land has not been grabbed by any means just to make that happen?
No,
as against the community?
To the best of my knowledge,
Yes.
no. We've not had that. We've not seen that. To the best of my knowledge, I've not seen that. And I've never had that. And if such is happening, trust me, I'll be among the first persons to know. Yes.
So how do you hope to deal with vandalism and theft? Because that had been a recurring issue going forward.
Now, people have suffered as a result of lack of electricity for so many years. You know, when we talk about government shouldn't just be the people we elected to represent us. We are all part of government. So if I know that this electricity is important to me and it's in my community, I will do everything within my powers to protect it. And let me tell you something, like I tell my people, a vandal cannot come from the outside to come and vandalize something that is in your house without somebody in your house aiding that vandal.
Very true.
So this is why I also call on our community leaders, our chiefs, our kings, youth presidents, youth bodies, to be part of the process of securing these infrastructures. It's just like when you come to telecom, you see NCC encouraging people to secure NCC infrastructures. Yes. Because if they are not working, you don't have communication. So if these infrastructures are vandalized, transformers are stolen, lines are taken away, the light goes off. So because you know that the light is important to you, you must be part of the process to ensure that nobody vandalizes it. So we all have to be vigilant. We all have to support these companies providing these services to secure these assets, to ensure that we have constant power supply. So it is not just about Delta State, it's about every part of the federation. People must begin to take that holistic approach. People must begin to make that necessary effort to make sure that infrastructures are protected, with the view of ensuring that service delivery is guaranteed and you have constant power supply to do your business, even sleep well. If you have already, you can on your AC, and after the hot day and stress, you sleep well, you have good sleep and you dream well. It's only a man that sleeps well that can dream of becoming a billionaire. If you don't sleep well, you don't have a fan blowing you, you're going to be dreaming of witches and wizards chasing you. So in order not to have those nightmares,
yes,
all of us must join hands, encourage local security, support them, to protect these infrastructures. It's not just for government. Like I told my people when I went home the last time, the drainages in my community that have been filled up, I called the youth president and I said, look, this can't be happening here when you're a youth president. Go to the Onotuku and let him know that these drainages need to be cleared. And then maybe on a Saturday, get a tank crier to send message to all the youths and everybody to come out. We need to clear our drainages and evacuate them to make sure that flood doesn't ravage our community and other landscapes are not eroded by erosion. And they thanked me. And as I speak to you, they told me that today, that work is ongoing. So these are the kind of things we should be doing as leaders, encouraging our people to make sure that whatever government and state is doing for us, we protect them. So they don't get bad. Because you don't get favors from government all the time. And government cannot continue doing this recurrent expenditure all the time. These things cost money. One of my biggest fears when we embarked on a road construction and all of that, we are from the Niger Delta. We know our terrain. In 1 or 2 years, no matter how good Julius Berger builds the road, it gets bad again. You need money to maintain them. So people saying that people are stealing money, they are not also looking at all of these things. All these recurrent expenditures. Why you have recurrent expenditures, you also have capital projects that are still ongoing. So it is not easy for us as a state, but my governor is doing everything he can to ensure that life is easy for us. And anybody saying anything contrary to that is the enemy of Delta State. I can tell you that for free.
Awesome. My last question to you just before we let you go. Renewable energy is so important. You are the advisor to the Delta State government on investment.
Yes.
If you might share with us, if you have seen or have experienced the situation where people are interested, third parties now interested in renewable energy, especially in these areas that are deficit of electricity. Have you had anything from them? Is there anything in the future that will possibly bring them so we cannot just have the national grid and all of that, but renewable energy? Because most of these communities do not need so much energy. Just a little bit of a solar panel, just one, is enough sometimes for one community or for one household. So do we have such in the pipeline?
There are a lot of companies that are interested in doing renewable energy in Delta State, from solar to CNGs and the rest of them. So discussions are ongoing, and hopefully they will be fruitful. I can tell you that. So it's something that we all know is one thing that is going to the entire world is sitting to.
Yes.
So we can't be left out. So we're having conversation. We're talking. I'm traveling today. I'm going to about 5 different countries. I also talk to investors, meeting with them, and probably. But when people talk about investment, convincing investors, it's also not very easy from where we're coming from.
Okay.
The country in general has been really bastardized until the president came into office and is beginning to carry out these reforms to put confidence in the mind of investors. The volatility in our currency was also a major problem. Putting confidence in the minds of investors was a major problem in Nigeria. It's not just about Delta State, but things are beginning to take shape. The outlook is looking very, very good now. And we hope that in the coming years, there's going to be flurries of investment, not just coming into Delta State, but Nigeria as a whole. Things are beginning to get stable, and people are beginning to have confidence. The people that exercise fear in my first trip to seek for investors are no longer seeing that fear today. A lot of them are confident. They are putting me under a lot of pressure. They want to come. But government is not like the private business. If it's a private business, I'm a businessman, I would have closed up a whole lot of this. But in government, there are a lot of procedures. A lot of bottlenecks. So you need to navigate them. So this navigation makes it look as if, okay, nothing is happening. But definitely you overcome them, and then things will begin to fly the way you want it. So are we ready for investment? Of course, yes. In renewable energy, of course, yes. Are there investors coming on? Of course, yes. And very soon, things will begin to take shape. And as I told you, you can't do anything in Nigeria without Delta State. That has been established. So anybody seeing that contrary is making if you're going to Abuja from Asaba,
yes,
and somebody is going to Abuja from Lagos, the man going from Asaba will get there. If you're going by road, the man going there will get there first. So we sit at a pivotal position to drive prosperity for our brothers in the southeast, drive for our brothers in the south-south, drive for our brothers in the southwest, and our brothers in the north. Okay, we have the resources, we have the manpower, we have the academic institutions. Delta is the only state in Nigeria that have over 5 state-owned universities that are doing exceptionally well. Not just having them by name, you can verify. So in terms of, fully funded, in terms of human capital development, I think we have the right manpower to man whatever investment that is going to come into Delta State. So we are getting there, and I'm very proud of my governor. You know, a man, he has no fear. He's never afraid to dare. He wants the best for Deltans, and the way he's going, I see him becoming the president of this country someday. I can tell you that. I can tell you that for free. You know, he feels the pulse of the people. I think that's the first thing that you need to understand. You know, and I'm praying for him every blessed day, and I'll keep on supporting him and ensure that everything works well. I think it means well for Deltans. A lot of communities that have been cut off are being reconnected because it's building bridges, roads, and all of that, so people know. So for those that are preparing that they believe there's vacancy in Osadebe House come 2027, there's no vacancy to 2032. So really? Yes, to 2031. So they need to understand that it's a ride over now. It's a so there may not be the truth that there may not be election in Delta that I can tell you that for free, because the entire Deltans will come to say, to pass that vote of confidence, say continue from where you stopped. What are we going to put to go and waste our money for? The money is working.
And what's the relationship between Sheriff and Omagege? Is it awesome?
Let me tell you something. Did they tell you they have problems?
Well, who knows?
Have you seen them quarreling? You see them everywhere in functions and all of that. They embrace themselves, they talk, they smile, they exchange pleasantries. So if they are enemies, I don't think that will be happening. So you see, this is the season of politics. So you will hear a lot of garbages. People will say so many things. You know, people will cast aspersions, they will peddle rumors. This is the season where you begin to hear all of that. By next year, we are getting into politics proper. The business of the day is not going to be that serious. So you're going to hear a lot of stories, accusations and counter-accusations. So when you hear these rumors, it is normal. It is not out of place. People will even tell you that your mother did this, your father did that. They will even bring problems between you and your family. So I am not surprised. I've had this experience, and that is what we're seeing today. So anybody can say anything. To the best of my knowledge, Oborevwori and the Sheriff Oborevwori, they are not having any problem. Okay. Are you getting my point? Okowa and Ned Nwoko, I've never heard if they have any problems. So people can say anything. Have you heard from Okowa that is having issues with Ned Nwoko or from Sheriff?
No,
so why not book a session with the governor and have a chat with him?
Please, I would sincerely appreciate because it's so important that we get to hear from the whole
my state is peaceful.
Yes.
I can tell you that for free. We are well secured. And we're investing so much in the security architecture. You can see what my governor did for the Nigerian police, civil defense, and the military. Provided the necessary assistance, vehicles, trucks, and all of that. You know, ensuring that these people have everything they need to, you know, boost security in Delta State. And the architecture is working effectively well. So people are free to come out on air to say a whole lot of things, but most importantly, one of the things that the governor did, like I said earlier on, that is pivotal to driving prosperity in Delta State was this electricity bill that has been signed into law. Because with electricity, you know, coming in and being constant, a lot of development and investment will begin to take place within the rural areas, you know, reduce urban migration, and then the people are going to be happy, you know, once again. So I think so far so good, we are doing well. You can't talk about the SARSA without talking about Delta State today.
Definitely.
That is just the simple truth. And that is happening because we have a governor that understands, you know, he understands the streets. He has the street credibility, and that is why things are moving. So what do you want to come and tell my governor that he does not know? Of course, he has the listening ears. He's going to listen to you. He will analyze what you're saying. And then, most importantly, do what is best for Deltans, and that is happening.
Very well true. Congratulations, Chief. And Chief has promised to bring us to Delta State Hopefully, we would have an exclusive one-on-one sit-down with the governor, Sheriff Oborevwori, to do some talking on some of these things and more. But most importantly, have the opportunity of visiting rural communities, see what he is doing, especially with regards to electrification of the communities, and hear from the people how the government of Sheriff Oborevwori has impacted on their lives and their businesses, their families, and all whatnot. Thank you so very much, Chief Dr. Tony Ameche, for being here.
Thank you so much.
We do appreciate you once more. All right, people, that's just about the time we have. We'd love to say thank you to you for making this picture complete. Please do well to visit us if you may. You can actually read up on everything we've talked about. When you see us at EnterpriseTVNews.com, you may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at EnterpriseTV7. I am Henry Igwebike. Thank you for watching. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.